All right, so are you starting to get a sense? I know it's been a few weeks, right? So it's like when I came in tonight, I was like, gosh, everybody, just, not you, but like the production team, myself, everybody's walking around like they're in a little bit of a fog. You kind of feel that way? All right, so, but how many of you already have a sense of, in the seminar, so it's a whole conversation inside of creating a relationship to Word as a source of designing a life of workability, freedom, and possibility. And each session, we're giving you another access to that. We keep expanding the conversation. We keep expanding the conversation, okay? So the next conversation we're about to have is the next expansion of that conversation, and they're all intended to empower you. They're all intended to empower you with your Word having the power to create your life. And I can hear in the sharing that's happening for a lot of you already. So if you didn't get to share tonight, who already has had breakthroughs, you didn't get to share something, there'll be more opportunities to share. But you've already been producing breakthroughs, you're getting results in your life. Yeah? Okay, so that's going to expand. And so this next conversation, we're going to have a conversation about restoring the condition of integrity for the seminar. Right, so we've had conversations about restoring integrity, but up until now, they've been at the level of an individual. They've been, about you, about where you had a lack of integrity. So as you begin to engage in integrity as distinct from morality and sincerity, and you got to keep noticing when it becomes moral, you got to keep noticing when it turns into a good-bad conversation. It's that whole world of morality again has come into the picture. But as you began to continue to distinguish integrity from morality and sincerity, what becomes more and more clear is that integrity is the foundation for workability in life. Integrity is the foundation for workability. And that holds true not just for us as individuals, but it also holds true for the groups that we participate in life. So integrity is not just an individual phenomenon, it's also a group phenomenon. You can't have an extraordinary conversation with the group if the condition of the group lacks integrity. There won't be any space, there won't be any clearing for it, you could say. So this conversation is not about making something wrong. So if you're hearing this, so who are here, it's like the minute I start bringing this conversation, it's like, uh-oh, something's wrong. Okay, this isn't a conversation about making anything wrong. There's nothing wrong. The conversation is an opportunity to restore integrity so that an extraordinary conversation can happen. So that we should have a clearing to have an extraordinary conversation. But even more important is that you get clear that integrity is the foundation for living a life of possibility and for living a life of transformation. There's no possibility for living a life you love and living it powerfully without an unreasonable relationship to your Word. So if you really want your Word to have the power to create your life, if you really want your Word to be the thing that has your marriage be extraordinary, you create the possibility of an extraordinary relationship, but then there's no condition of integrity around that, good luck. It's not going to happen. Now, if you're not committed to living an extraordinary life, and a life of possibility, then no problem. Integrity is not required. But I say you're here because you are committed to living an extraordinary life and a life of power. You don't need integrity to be ordinary. There's nothing wrong with being ordinary. It's the whole planet, pretty much. You don't need a conversation for integrity for that. But if you are up for the extraordinary, then integrity is required. So in the forum, you brought forth the presence of a whole new realm of possibility for yourself in your life. That's fundamentally what you got in the forum. You brought forth this whole new realm of possibility. And without an extraordinary relationship to your Word, what's going to happen to that transformation? What will happen to that whole new realm of possibility? It'll disappear. Your transformation's not going to go away. That happened, right? But there won't be any. It'll turn into a memory. It'll turn into an insight. We have this saying that yesterday's transformation is today's ego trip. So unless if you're continually creating your transformation, it'll go out of existence. All right. So an unreasonable relationship to your Word is what allows for the continued invention of new possibilities, the continued invention of possibilities that touch, move, and inspire you, and then translate into powerful results in your life. But you can only do that on a foundation of integrity. And the technology of Landmark is what makes available this bold statement. I mean, we make this ridiculous statement that anything that you want for yourself or your life is available. Right? We say that, and we mean it. But that can only happen inside a powerful relationship to your word. So authentically engaging in being someone effective in being able to bring transformation to any area of your life requires that you continue to expand. Remember, this whole conversation is about expansion. Continue to expand your ability to honor your word over your circumstances, your feelings, your reasons, your justifications, and you just, all did an extraordinary job of keeping something in existence over time. Over a 3-week period, it'd be really easy to say, you know what, that was fun for the first 3 sessions, but I'm not feeling it anymore. Gosh, I don't even know what we talked about 3 weeks ago. Right? So you've already demonstrated a capacity to honor your word over time. So now we're going to expand that. So ordinary people would do what? Ordinary people would defend their integrity. Right? Like there's something to defend, but extraordinary people ruthlessly go on the hunt for where you've got a lack of integrity. You actually look for it. Like Sandy pointing the finger. Gosh, I don't know, let me look over here. Something's not working, let me look over here. Because that's where you have real power. Okay, but so extraordinary people ruthlessly acknowledge their lack of integrity, clean up their messes, and expand their ability to honor their word. So up until now in the seminar, you've been dealing with restoring integrity as a personal phenomenon, like as an individual. So we're going to give you the opportunity to restore your integrity, not just as a personal phenomena, but also in the context of the seminar. So for us to fulfill on the intention, right? So the intention is for each and every person in the seminar to fulfill on this intention. Every person in the seminar, that's my promise, is that each and every person in the seminar fulfills on that intention. And that will require a condition for integrity for us as a group. Okay, now for those of you in the advanced course next weekend, you're going to get a whole deeper cut at this. But for right now, we're going to create a condition of integrity for us as a group. Because it's, you could say that for Renee to fulfill on the intention of the seminar, it has something to do with Ashley. Like Ashley's participation has something to do with Renee fulfilling that intention. All right, so, and just like us for individuals, integrity is required for groups to work, right? So if you want relationships, if you want your family, if you want organizations to work, if you want the world to work, society to work, then integrity is required. And I'm committed that this seminar works for every person in it. And to do that, we have to have a condition of integrity for the whole thing. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to acknowledge and restore your integrity regarding any broken promises or agreements since the beginning of the seminar. All right, so I'm going to go through the list of promises that you made at session 1. So remember at session 1, we gave you the list of promises. We went over those. So I'm going to read through those. Okay, you don't have to take them out because I'm going to read them. And then as I'm reading them, just listen for anything to acknowledge that you didn't do. Listen for anything to acknowledge that you did not do. Okay? All right, so the first one, I promise to attend all sessions. I will miss a session only in the case that I've already communicated at session 1 or 2 that I have a previously scheduled commitment or an emergency occurs. And if an emergency occurs, then I promise to call the center as soon as possible to let them know I won't be attending. All right, so that was the first one. Number 2, I promise to be on time to all sessions. 3, I understand that all material presented in the seminar is copyrighted by Landmark. I promise that any notes I take will be for my personal use. I promise to respect the confidentiality of all participants. Okay, and that includes email, meaning if Tracy shares something in here about her husband, you're not going and blasting that on Facebook, right? 5, I promise not to participate in gossip. Like, gosh, can you believe that Dave, he's a real creep. Yeah, I know, he is a creep, isn't he? Okay, that's gossip. I promised to come to the seminar prepared by having done all the assignments and by doing my notebook. And number 7, I promised to be coachable. All right, and by the way, I didn't, as part of my preparation for the seminar, I looked at the whole seminar, right? So I have these promises, but I have a lot of other promises as a seminar leader. And I went through every promise that I have said since session 1 and actually before session 1 to look to see any that I've broken. And then I acknowledge that and clean that up with my coach. So I've got a coach in leading the seminar. You know, and it's like, it's very freeing when you actually can just say and get it complete. So if you've not kept your word for any of those promises, even if you think you only broke your word a little bit, like I did 90% of the assignments, but I didn't do 10%, right, Patrice? Right? So even if you think you just broke your word a little, please raise your hand to acknowledge it. All right, keep them up, and everybody just look around and notice the amount of hands up. Okay, I think pretty much everybody. How about production team? How about you? Anybody broken promises back there? Okay, thank you. I want you to be included. All right, go ahead and put them down. Now, this is only about keeping your promises in a seminar. 7 promises. So now you can see why the world looks the way it does. Right? So if we can't keep 7 promises over the course of a month, it's no wonder the world looks the way that it does for human beings. Now, in the normal course of restoring integrity, you would want to find out from the person you broke your word with what the impact of that was. Right? So like me in this case, and what you would need to clean up the mess. So here's what I'm saying. There's nothing else you have to do. So by having raised your hand, by having acknowledged where you didn't keep your word, that's complete. And I'm requesting that you have it be complete for you. That there's now nothing that you walk out of here with. Like clean slate. You've acknowledged that you broke those promises. And I'm declaring that by having acknowledged the broken promises and agreements of the seminar, we've also restored integrity for the group. Like all of us. All right, and then what works in restoring your integrity is to remake your promises and agreements. Okay, and then you might also look to see, like if you know you never did the assignments, then you might want to, what I would recommend is you look to see, well, what are you going to put into place that will support you in keeping that promise? So it doesn't just become another promise that you're going to break, right? Like create a new structure, all right? So I'm going to give you a moment to acknowledge any broken promises you've not yet acknowledged with your partner, and then to remake your promises. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes each to do that. So you're going to acknowledge any broken promises you've not yet acknowledged, and then to remake your promises with your partner. Okay? So go ahead. The question? Oh, I promise to be coachable. Okay? Let's go ahead and do that.